What is up, guys? Stark here, back for day 20 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's video we are doing the final character spotlight for the Shimosa badge, and this one will be the 4-star servant Suzuka Gozen. So she is a 4-star saber, and at level 80 she will go up to 11,753 HP and 9,544 attack. This will rank her 85th overall in HP and 83rd overall in attack. Her star absorption is 100, her star generation is 10.2%, her noble phantasm generation on her attacks is 0.57, and on defense it is 3%. So Gozen is a pretty good character. She can do some pretty good damage, do some pretty, I guess pretty much damage is about the most she's good at. She does have some other effects here that are pretty cool to slow the enemies down, but mostly she's going to be a damage dealer, although she's not going to be a powerhouse damage dealer. She's going to just do a pretty average amount of damage and have like a one-turn burst where she could do a ton of damage. As for her skills though, her first skill is the Divine Power B, which will increase her Buster Card effectiveness for one turn, as well as increasing her critical star drop rate for one turn. This will be a 40% increase at level 10 for the Buster Card effectiveness and a 50% increase to the critical star drop rate. So that's going to be pretty big, you know, some really nice percentages there, can translate to some pretty good damage. It's on a 5-turn charge time as well, so that's pretty low, but both effects do only last for one turn, so you're going to have to wait a little while in order to use this skill again, so you might have to pick and choose when you go ahead and unleash this skill. Overall though, it is a good skill. You do get a big boost to your damage with it, and you know, getting that extra bit of stars to drop is going to be really nice as well. So she can generate some pretty good stars with this skill. So her second skill is the Mystic Eyes B+, which has a chance to inflict charm on a single male enemy for one turn, as well as decreasing that enemy's attack for one turn. So this is a pretty good skill, but you do only have a chance to inflict charm. It is a 100% chance at level 10 for male enemies, so you know, that's pretty good. At least you have a pretty high percentage there, and more often than not you will be able to get it off for that sort of stun. And if not, if it does fail for whatever reason, you do get a 20% decrease to their attack for one turn. So that's a little weird, because usually when you get 20%, it's for like 3 turns. So you would have expected this to be a little bit of a higher percentage, especially with it being on a 6-turn charge time. So you're going to have to wait quite a while in order to use the skill again, which is kind of a drawback of Gozen's skills. A lot of them only do last for one turn. But overall, it is a pretty good way to stall the enemy out and hopefully kill them before they get the chance to do some serious damage to you. And it will be one of the ways of having Gozen survive a little bit longer. She doesn't have any sort of defense, so this skill is pretty much her ticket to survival. And then third and finally, her last skill is the Blessings of Talent C. This will charge her Noble Phantasm gauge every turn for 5 turns. It will also apply Sure Hit to herself for 3 turns and increase her Noble Phantasm strength by 20% for 3 turns. So this is really nice. You get a 10% increase to your gauge every turn for 5 turns at max level on a 6-turn charge time. So, you know, this skill really does bring it around for her altogether. You could pretty much have this skill active the entire fight, essentially. I say that because you're going to get the 50% increase for your Noble Phantasm. So within those 5 turns, odds are you're going to get the other 50% for your overall gauge, and then you can unleash your Noble Phantasm and then go ahead and use it again. Obviously it's never going to work out perfectly like that, but it is nice to have that constant increase to your gauge every single turn, which is really nice, kind of like a passive skill. And then you also do get extra effects as well, you know, being able to apply Sure Hit so you can get through that defense, and also the Noble Phantasm strength increase is going to be pretty huge as well. And this is on a 6-turn charge time, so that's perfect there. As for her passive, she does have 3. The first one is the Magic Resistance A, which will increase her debuff resistance by 20%. The second one is Riding B, which will increase her quick card effectiveness by 8%. And finally, she has the Divinity A, which will apply damage plus 200. So all in all, Gozen has some really good skills. She can do some pretty good damage, but most of her effects only last for one turn, so you do have to pick and choose when you want to go ahead and make that burst. And that is why she's only going to get 4 stars overall in her skills. Just a few little drawbacks to it. Overall, nothing too bad. She's got a pretty solid set there. Even though they're short cooldowns, they're long cooldowns because they only last for one turn. So you're going to have to wait a while in order to use them again. And she doesn't have that much consistency in her overall damage outside of her skills, so you have to be careful with that. Moving on to her command card deck and her Noble Phantasm, she does have 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 busters, and the hit counts are going to be 3 on all of her basic attacks. So that's going to be pretty cool, you know, having 3 hits on all of her attacks, 4 on her extra attack, and 10 on her Noble Phantasm. So for her command card deck, that's pretty good. So she's going to be able to get pretty good Noble Phantasm generation, and that'll help, you know, especially comboed with her 3rd skill. You also do have 2 Buster cards, so you can do Buster Brave Chains with her Noble Phantasm, so that's going to be really big as well. And her Noble Phantasm is pretty simple, honestly. It will deal damage to all enemies, a pretty solid amount there, and it is on a 10 hit Noble Phantasm, so you're going to be able to get a ton of stars after this. And the overcharge effect will increase your critical strength for 3 turns. So this is going to be a pretty sizable increase, 40% to 80% depending on the level of it, and you know, having that will definitely help her overall damage be really good. You know, get that extra bonus. You're going to get a ton of stars with her Noble Phantasm, especially if you do have, you know, like a Brave Chain going with her. So that'll be cool. You get to maximize it, and you'll also have the increase to your critical strength at the same time, so it'll further increase the damage. She does have really good absorption as well, you know, being 100. I guess not really good. It's slightly above average, but she will be able to reliably get quite a few stars off of her Noble Phantasm and her normal attacks. So you don't need to worry too much about her absorption as long as you keep track of the absorption rate of the allies you bring in with her. You might have to bring another one in with a skill to bump it up if they have a higher absorption rate. You do want to make sure she gets the stars for her attacks, especially during the duration of her Noble Phantasm, to make use of the increase to your critical damage. So altogether, I think she can do a pretty good amount of damage. However, she is heavily tied to her Noble Phantasm and that like 1 turn of burst with her skills. So she will get 4 stars overall in damage. For her crit ability, she's also going to get 4 stars. She does have good crit ability. Again, it's tied to her Noble Phantasm being able to be the best way for her to generate stars and increase her critical damage strength. Although her Noble Phantasm's not that hard to charge up, so it's not going to be the end of the world to rely on that. You just have to make sure you get it off every 3 turns in order to keep the crit buff going and make sure you have the stars being supplied in the turns that your Noble Phantasm is not going off. As for her Noble Phantasm, she's also going to get 4 stars in this. Pretty solid Noble Phantasm, even if it is pretty basic. She does make up a couple of points in the fact that it does generate a lot of stars with the 10 hits on it. And she does have her 3rd skill, which is pretty much going to be constant Noble Phantasm generation every turn, as well as a boost to her Noble Phantasm strength. So that's altogether pretty good there for a pretty solid 4-star ranking. From here on out, though, her stars do dip a little bit, and her survivability will see her get 3 stars. The average is 2.5, and I was going to give her that, but she does have her 2nd skill, which does help keep her alive a little bit longer just by stunning the enemy and decreasing their attack. But outside of that, she has no sort of defense whatsoever, so she's not getting too many points there. And that is also why she will get 3 stars in versatility. She offers no team support whatsoever. Everything she does is pretty much selfish to herself. The only reason why she does get 3 stars is because she does have an AoE Noble Phantasm, being able to take it into like farming teams and stuff like that. That'll be really nice. You could also use her Noble Phantasm to generate stars for other allies if you really needed to, but there are better characters for that. I wouldn't bring her in unless you're planning on using her to do the damage. So that will give her overall ranking a 3.7 out of 5. She is a pretty good character that can do some pretty good damage. She's definitely a really good viable option for 4-star sabers if you don't have anything higher up as a 5-star. I do think she falls into the category of one of the better 4-star sabers in the game. So if you do have her, definitely level her up and mess around with her a little bit. Figure out some good team compositions to use for her there. Just take in a friend Merlin if you have to, and that'll help for sure. So that's it, guys. I hope you did like the video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. So feel free to check those out, as well as the link at the end of the video for the 25 Days of Fate. You know, if you want to enter into that giveaway, just go ahead and click the video, comment on the video, subscribe to my channel for your chance to enter into win a $100 gift card to either Google Play or iTunes. That's wrapping up here in a couple days, so make sure you do that if you haven't done it already. And again, make sure you post your Twitter handle on the giveaway video's comment that you use to enter. Because if you can't make the stream and you post your Twitter, at least I have a way to contact you, so you'll still be able to win. If not, then it's just going to go to someone else who's either in the stream or who posted their Twitter handle. So, you know, I've been saying it for 20 days now, so just make sure you pay attention to that, follow the rules, and hopefully one of you guys is going to win. Alright, so I'm going to leave you guys here with Gozen's Dumbledore Hasm, and I will see you tomorrow.
宗師枕を紐解けば音に聞こえし大統領裏金ごとの役場たち群がる悪鬼をスズメ刺し文術剣大神道恋愛葉っぱ